All right, welcome back to Fleck Talks the Podcast, episode 234. Today on the show, Trump's tariff war wages on and he's winning. We're going to show you what the naysayers are missing. Then, the DNC had an event over the weekend. We'll show you some of the pathetic highlights from that. Then, half of the money we gave to Ukraine went missing. What? And last but not least, in Urban Decay, we have a blatant example of EBT fraud that will make you big mad. All this and more, it's Fleck Talks the Podcast, episode 234, ranked the best news podcast of all time!
Because words are just words until action actually starts. And actions speak louder than words, but at the same time, words speak louder than actions because sometimes it's the right thing to do. Very cool. Very cool.
It's Fleck Talks the Podcast featuring Richard Grab.
All right, one for one on the intro, as always. Guys, we're in crunch time right now. A new administration's about to be sworn in, and as good as that sounds, it also means there's a few days left for our enemies to stir up some trouble. That could mean a cyber attack, an invasion, or God forbid, a nuclear strike. So until long-term bureaucrats are out of Washington, I'm not taking any chances, and that's why I have an emergency food supply from My Patriot Supply. Their 4-week emergency food kit gives you the nutrition you need to stay strong in a crisis. With 2,000 calories a day and 100% of your daily value of 12 essential vitamins and minerals, this kit keeps you going when every meal matters. Right now, they're offering $50 off of their 4-week emergency food kit. Go to preparewithfleckus.com right now and grab yours. Now is the time to prepare. Don't keep putting this off. Preparewithfleckus.com is the website. It's linked in the description. Thank you to My Patriot Supply for sponsoring. Let's get into housekeeping. All right. Thank you to My Patriot Supply for sponsoring.
Thank you, My Patriot Supply.
It's good to be prepared. We all know that.
Yeah.
Feeling good. How you doing, Richard?
I'm feeling good as well.
Welcome back to the Tuesday episode. I have a little bit of a health thing going on again. You know, I had the toxic dumping, I had the neck injury, got attacked by a dog, and now I have like an ingrown hair or something on my lip, and my lip is swollen. Looks like I got stung by a bee. Maybe I got bit by a bug when I was sleeping.
Yeah, maybe the last page of Housekeeping was a little too long and someone had to backhand you before the show started. I don't know.
Richard hit me.
I don't know.
But it looks like I got like lip filler or something.
Kim K.
Yeah, Kim K dumb shit, and I'm having trouble talking and enunciating, so keep an eye out for that today.
Yeah.
The FBI.
You're hurt a lot, dude. Is something's happening to you? Are you breaking down?
I think I'm getting all the toxins out.
Oh, yeah. All right.
I think that's what it is.
Okay.
All right, we have a packed show, lots going on, lots of politics, lots of migrant stuff, a great Cringe and Urban Decay as well. You ready to get right into it?
Yeah, it really has not slowed down at all. You know how we said the first couple episodes immediately after new President Trump got in, it was like it'll slow down? We're actually ramping up.
We're ramping up. There's a million things to cover, and along with the rest of the media, we are overwhelmed by it.
I know. And then, we watched the Grammys last night. Can't even talk about the Grammys.
Who cares?
I know. There's real shit happening. And then, Lady Gaga wants to talk about trans people. We're skipping that.
Yeah, we're skipping that. The takeaway from the Grammys was there's this 13,000 Grammy member voting board that votes. Mm-hmm. They just vote DEI.
Yeah.
They just, Beyonce for country album? Yeah. Oh, Kendrick Lamar did something? Yeah, give it to him. And everyone just votes for black people or black women or anyone besides white people is what I took away from that.
That's what I took away as well. And then I noticed that Kendrick Lamar did not need the microphone stand moved up for him at all. A bunch of women came before him, so I don't know.
Yeah, that mic's good there. Yeah. He has a little outfit on.
Little guy.
I don't like that guy. He hates white people.
I think so.
That's the reason I don't like him. All right, let's get right into the show. We have a lot to get to. First things first, the walls of the FBI were painted over.
Yeah, this photo was taken 2 days ago at the FBI Academy in Quantico and submitted to the New York Times under the condition of anonymity. And it's the gay elementary school wall.
This is Quantico, and it looks like an elementary school.
Fairness, leadership, compassion. We don't need to know that I'm an FBI agent. I don't need to be reminded of those things when I'm on my way to intercept some sort of terror cell domestically.
Yeah, like Quantico, like that's what they talk about on the blacklist.
Yeah.
You know, where there's like saving the world the last second from the dirty bomb, and then that's what the walls look like. It looks like an elementary school.
It's like a gay little office instead of like an important institution, right?
Not scary enough.
I like to see the gray paint go up.
Gray paint, no emotion. Good
You know,
old federal building.
Federal buildings used to be like small windows, cramped, dark, serious business going on. Now it's an elementary school. So
Yeah. Well,
nature's healing.
big change. Thank you, Trump. And then also 88 FBI agents who worked on Trump cases were just physically escorted out of the Washington field office, per source.
Yeah.
That's good to see as well.
Yeah. You didn't think we kept a list of names and stuff like that for everybody who kind of did politically motivated things. And, you know, some of those people were just like, I was just listening to my boss. And, you know, we're taking out root and stem. So you're part of the stem.
Yeah, and you're part of the Biden regime. You're part of the deep state, basically, and you were going to do this, and it's going to help Kamala win. You don't need to worry. Kamala's going to win. We need you to help. Oh, it didn't work out. Trump said, you're the first to go.
Yeah.
So that's how it works. All right, let's get to our next story, big story out of Ukraine. Zelensky did an interview, and listen to what he says about the hundreds of billions of dollars we gave him.
Дивіться, я коли чую,
Look, when I hear, and I heard before, and today we hear from the United States of America
що Америка
that Americans gave Ukraine hundreds of billions, 177 billion to be more precise.
10, якщо сказати більш точно, така звучала точно
That's what the exact figure sounded like, which was supported or voted by Congress.
організації. Дивіться,
Look, as the president of a warring country, I tell you, we received just over 75 billion.
більше 75.
So 100 billion is up in the air, in transit somewhere, disappeared.
Poof, thin air.
And we know all those, the oligarchs got yachts and boats and houses in Miami and LA, and everyone's rich and whatever. 100 billion of our taxpayer dollars missing.
Yeah.
And then the capable men, like obviously Ukraine's a corrupt country, and the capable men that would have stopped the corruption obviously were murdered in the war. We found this on Twitter. It was the phone of a dead Ukrainian soldier, and look what he searched.
His Google history is Ukraine-Russia negotiations, Zelensky negotiations, Pokrovsky importance. The war will end in 2025. Trump talks when. Trump stop war. Trump on negotiations. Trump aid to Ukraine. Trump, when will the war end?
Sad.
Yeah. And you die for like a regime that doesn't even really value you, is kind of a proxy to the Western deep state. And for what, you know?
Yeah, the satanic cabal needed a blood quota.
And you look back in history, and there's only been a handful of justified wars. You know what I mean? Like real, for your sovereignty, you're being invaded by a foreign force. I just don't know at what point this one, you know, at the beginning, sure, you fight a little bit, but when it looks like you're getting blown out for a long time, how long do you keep taking aid and taking your men dying, right?
And we were saying early on that Ukraine obviously doesn't have a chance. Just take the deal. They didn't take the deal, and now they're probably gonna take the deal. But what, 500,000 people had to die, maybe more.
There are varying estimates, but it's just a total huge cost of human life, right?
Crazy. $100 billion missing. All right, next we have an update from the Pentagon. Can you give that a read?
The Pentagon has informed its resident press corps that NBC, New York Times, NPR, and Politico will rotate out of the building and give space to New York Post, Breitbart, OAN, and Huffington Post.
Love that.
Yeah.
That's big. And then we also saw a couple days ago they announced that they're going to have podcasters in the White House briefings.
Yeah. Have you submitted the application yet?
Maybe we'll do that. People keep messaging and saying that we need to go and ask a question.
Would you ask anything serious, or would you do a last page of housekeeping dumb shit?
I might ask a question about President Trump and then say President Trump.
So yeah, you shouldn't even apply, buddy.
No, we'll go. We'll ask a question. I'll say,
Yeah.
"Oh, is President Trump?" And then she'll answer, and I'll go, "I said President."
Yeah.
They'll go, "All right, get the fuck out."
I was gonna say, what do we do? Do we just do layups? Like, do we do whatever we want to talk about? I would ask about EBT. I would ask DOGE to go to EBT. I would say, any thoughts on stopping that?
I would
Because
ask
there's a lot of abuse.
Yeah, and we'll get to that, especially in Urban Decay. I would ask about things that are in my own special interests. So like capital gains tax on crypto.
Ooh.
I'm like, when is that going to happen exactly?
Yeah.
Specifically, what, tomorrow? Can you do that now?
Yeah.
Can you just say it now? Pump my bags?
All right, fair.
All right, let's move on. And then obviously the White House websites are all being updated with the new administration. And a lot of the pages, like, for example, the office of Kamala D. Harris, 404. This page is unburdened by what has been. So we're trolling on the way in.
We do a little trolling, and hurts nobody is funny. It's a bit for us. There's a whole theme of the new right wing where we do it for us. We're not trying to win a moderate or a CNN anchor. We're having fun amongst ourselves, right?
Yeah.
We have the power.
Exactly. We're shoving their face in it a little bit.
Yep.
All right, next, let's get into our tariffs discussion. Obviously, Trump said he's going to do tariffs with Canada and Mexico. Everyone freaked out. Everyone became an economy expert.
Yeah.
Harry Sisson especially.
Oh, yeah.
He was going crazy, saying this isn't going to work. And it's like, oh, we got to get Harry Sisson in to meet with President Trump. He says it's not going to work. This guy's 21 years old. He must know what he's talking about.
Sir, I have Stephen Miller, the Secretary of Defense, and Harry Sisson on your 1 o'clock.
Harry says the tariffs aren't going to work, sir. Are you sure about this, or are you just guessing?
Yeah, and it's actually funny because we covered the Colombia tariffs when Colombia turned away 2 planes. And people are being proven wrong in warp speed. We're in the era of you have a freezing cold take after 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah.
And so that a lot of Democrats were saying these tariffs on Mexico and Canada, what are they even for? What does Trump even want? They'll never work.
And they don't realize that the tariffs are a negotiating tool.
Yeah.
Like, they're really, really scary. They would really mess up your economy. And then you do what Trump wants you to do, then they go away. So it's not like we want to do tariffs. It's just a tool that we can threaten to use. And if we have to, we will use. And then in the meantime, you're scrambling and wondering what you do. And it's probably going to result in you going, okay, we'll make the deal with Trump.
You're going to say, uncle,
Yeah.
we're America, you're Mexico or Canada. It's a trade war. Do you think America wins the war?
We're the big kids. You're a baby.
It's actually really simple. And then so Trump did the Mexico and Canada tariffs. And then as of yesterday morning, Mexico's president says tariffs will be paused for 1 month after her discussion with Trump. Mexico will deploy 10,000 National Guard troops to help secure the border, work with the U.S. on security and business. The markets kind of bounced back after gapping down on Monday morning.
But it's a 1 month pause. So it's not just saying, all right, we're good now and kind of like ease back to how you were doing things. It's a 1 month pause. If you don't behave, we're going to do the bad thing.
They're looming over your head, Mexico. You better do what we want. And if you don't, then the trade war's back on. It's really simple.
That's really simple. And then we actually have an End Wokeness tweet here that sums up all the caving that happened from our opponents this week.
Yeah, 2 weeks in, Mexico caved, Panama caved, Colombia caved, Venezuela caved, Canada's panicking. We haven't heard anything as of this filming right now on Canada, but stand by for a bending of the knee. Mass deportations, hostages are home, DEI programs ended, bureaucracy slashed, FBI purges. I'm not going to read the whole thing because we're going to get into some of these later.
A lot of winning, though.
We're stacking them up.
And everyone who's going against it and pretending that they know about tariffs, obviously it's very political and they just want to go against Trump. We have a perfect example here from Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders in 2019, of course I would use tariffs as president. Yeah. And then Bernie Sanders a couple days ago, can you read what he said?
Trump's unilateral decision to impose a 25% tariff on Canada and Mexico is most likely illegal and most definitely harmful. Economists estimate that these will increase costs for the average American family by as much as $1,200 a year.
That's better than your RFK impression. And your RFK impression's very good.
I didn't know I had that in me.
I didn't know either. That was a good commitment. That was great.
I know.
So Bernie's full of shit. Everyone's just trying to go against Trump. And we don't even care. We're not even trying to explain it to people. We're just doing what we want, and we'll deal with the consequences later.
So it's the season of your bad takes are going to get exposed in 24 hours if you think it won't work against Mexico and Canada. And then it's also the season of let him cook. This isn't a one-day thing that you can't just swipe to another TikTok and get your questions answered. We're leaning on people. You know, some of these things take several days. Some of them take up to a week, guys. And I know the news media can't reasonably even wait that long before jumping to a conclusion, but you got to let Trump cook.
Let him cook.
He knows what he's doing. And then also, it's this, we're leaning on countries and we're using our leverage and our weight. And then that's also never been done before in the modern history, in the last 25 years. We barely use the leverage that we always have.
We've just been getting ran over on purpose.
Exactly.
And now
ever since NAFTA. Right?
Now we're standing strong.
Yeah.
Part of that is DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency. We have a little insight here about who's doing DOGE and who's running it. It's pretty funny. Can you give that a read?
Yeah, this Wired published an article that has identified 6 young men, all apparently between the ages of 19 and 24, according to public databases, who have little to no government experience and are now playing critical roles in Musk's so-called Department of Government Efficiency. And the tweet here says Elon has 6 Adderall-fueled autistic tech bro Zoomers sleeping overnight at the DOGE offices and working 24/7 on maximizing government efficiency. This is bullish.
All we need is a few smart young guys on Adderall and nicotine trying to clear some of the fat out.
And the Wired piece was supposed to be like this doxing, like, look at these guys. They don't know anything about the government. They're like, they can't do it. As if like some guy can't come in and be like, yeah, we shouldn't be giving money to trans people in Guatemala. Like as if that's hard, or like you have to have like a degree in government to get that done.
Yeah, it's very exactly. And like we've been saying, it's all common sense. It's not this complex think piece that you need to consult with people and get this crazy, high-end thing of like super intellectualized ideas. It's just like, sent too much money for trans Somali, no more do that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really simple.
It's actually very easy.
And then someone had a tweet that I thought was interesting. They said, I didn't vote for Elon Musk. We've seen that all over Twitter. I didn't vote for Elon. Why are billionaires influencing us? Like they all of a sudden start to care. And then someone said, I didn't vote for the FBI, the ATF, the CIA, PBS, NPR, FDA, WHO, UN, IRS, Federal Reserve, EPA, or CDC.
Every acronym you can fucking think of.
We didn't vote for that. So we'll send our own guys in there to make sure everyone's doing their job correctly. Yep. And then part of that is the USAID, the USAID.
That's where they're focused on right now and where Democrats are screeching about. Here's a tweet that said, the new leaders at USAID also abruptly laid off contractors who made up about half the workforce in the agency's humanitarian bureau Tuesday, knocking them out of systems so that some vanished in the middle of video conferences.
Thanos.
Trump just Thanos snapped them out of existence. And USAID is the U.S. Agency for International Development.
So there's a lot of money going abroad from our taxpayers, and then the intellectuals and the political class decide where the money should go. And we have some examples of how we were wasting it. But Cernovich kind of summed up what it is before we get into those examples.
Yeah, well, we saw a huge reaction from the left about USAID. No, you can't do that. We need that. That's for disaster relief and poverty, and that goes to the international community. And
starving children.
Exactly. And their budget is about $50 billion a year. And one of the arguments we saw was that it's only 0.7% of the federal government spending. And it's like, it's $50 billion. So
it's a lot.
So if it's a lot, then we should do something. And if it's not a lot, then why do you care, right? Cernovich said USAID was the skeleton key to unlocking all of the corruption. I've never seen Democrats so outraged about anything.
Yeah.
They're holding press conferences. Ilhan Omar is like, the people who are least American are getting the most mad, like Ilhan, or people who want to send money to Israel or Somalia or foreign countries. But yeah, here's some examples. USAID spent $2.5 million to promote DEI in Serbia, $70,000 for a DEI musical in Ireland, $47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia, and $32,000 for a transgender comic book in Peru.
Bye-bye. No more of that.
So, yeah, we don't really need like international relations expert to figure out if these are good or bad, right?
Yeah, and we have a couple more examples as well.
Yeah, USAID grant from 2024, almost $2 million. The purpose was to strengthen trans-led organizations to deliver gender-affirming healthcare, advocate for improved quality and access to services, provide economic empowerment opportunities. What country?
America, right?
Guatemala.
Guatemala.
$2 million for Guatemalan trans people. A couple more examples just before we get done with this section. $45 million to DEI scholarships in Burma.
No, I don't even know where that is on a map.
Burma, I think it's near Nepal. I think it's somewhere in there. It's kind of near in the Himalayas, I believe. Don't know, not positive. $520 million for consultant-driven ESG investments in Africa. $1.2 billion in awards to undisclosed recipients. So they just don't even tell you.
And then we use $1.2 billion for other things too.
That's one of the things that DOGE was finding out. They just have categories that are like, they just put it in miscellaneous. And it's like, there should never be a miscellaneous item on any government balance sheet ever. That's our money, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's get into our next part of the show, which is our migrant section. There's obviously a lot of protests going on lately. They shut down the 101 the other day. Here we have some migrants, some people protesting the ICE raids, and they're jumping on cop cars.
La Raza.
They ain't doing shit.
All right, let's let them stay.
Yeah.
All right. They're really upset. Let's let them stay.
Yeah, you bent me over. I guess free housing, more?
Yeah, don't break my car. You can have a hotel room.
The main difference between this and BLM riots is like steadily your rioting population is going to go down. You know?
That's a good point.
BLM, they got nowhere to go.
And I saw Cernovich had a good point on Twitter the other day. He said you can't say no person is illegal while also saying we live on stolen land or you live on stolen land.
Of course.
You know, it's like those things
Wait,
kind of contradict.
You're telling me the leftists have a major contradiction in their worldview? No.
Yeah.
That's crazy, dude.
Exactly. All right, next we have this CNN story, which I thought was pretty ironic. It says, sometimes we eat, sometimes we don't. Some families are struggling to eat during blah, blah, blah. It looks like you're eating most.
It's just some torta lady. Yeah.
She's mostly eating.
Yeah. CNN, I thought you guys were better at propaganda than this. Shame on you, you know?
Trying to like paint this picture. Well, maybe they're on our side now. Like, oh yeah, the starving illegal.
CNN is sarcastic now.
Let's get him out.
Yeah.
We're with you. And then Chuck Schumer, like you said, has been going crazy trying to get all the illegals to stay and to shut down ICE. Can you read with the tweets how it summed it up?
Yeah. Chuck Schumer has a quote that says, the only way we're going to have a great future in America is by granting citizenship to millions of illegal aliens. And somebody said, imagine you gain power in a country and your most imperative goal is to fill it with foreigners as fast as possible, with the end goal of ensuring the current majority population becomes a minority before the century is done. What would you assume motivates such a person?
I have a lot of guesses,
Yeah.
but I don't think I can say them because of the new anti-Semitism bills.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's just nonsense. It's really evil shit, and there's no real political thing other than I want a voting block, right?
Yeah, exactly. And they bring in like this, it's almost like an indentured servant slave class.
That's what I was going to say. We're about to get into the businesses without these workers, but there's something like really weird and strange about the fact that like there's just these kind of shorter Hispanic people who walk around and are doing all this little henchman work and they barely or don't speak English. And then you kind of look past them. You know?
Treat them like 3/5 of a person.
Pretty much. I mean,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying like that's what you should do or anything, but like that's kind of how it's been. Like we're importing an underclass and then we're not like a cohesive America because some jobs are just like like you get a job on a lawn crew as a white kid, as a teenager to earn some extra money. Everyone's just from Guatemala and is speaking Spanish.
Well, they do the jobs we don't want to do.
And that's weird. That's not good for the cohesion of a country. But let's get into the business reaction.
Yeah, here are some of the jobs I guess Americans don't want to do. This guy's a contractor. Listen to what he says about his crew.
This is an update on the ICE raids from the perspective of a general contractor. I just had a roofer completely cancel on my job because he is picking up the pieces from all of his other job sites that got raided, and the crews are just gone. So I'm in Fort Lauderdale, and this is a roofer that I've been working with for years. It's sub, it's labor, and I'm providing materials and working under my roofing license with my supervision. So it's how many of the roofers do it down here. And we were figuring out the final details, and I'm like, hey man, let's get that final number together. And I was kind of trying to figure out because he hadn't sent me the final price yet. And I'm like, what's going on, dude? And he finally wrote me just now, and he said, I have to walk from this job. I cannot physically complete it.
So contractor, those types of jobs, those aren't below people. You think of like the people picking the vegetables, the people working in the back of a restaurant. Like that, those are the jobs Americans don't want to do, the lawn people, but like contracting and construction, that's a real job.
Of course. Anything construction, roofing. Shout out to Arthur's Roofing.
Of course.
Our favorite roofing company.
#1 roofers in the world, I think, at this point.
They might have more reviews than any other roofer, which we overdid. But
then if you do the math on it, it's like 2,000 reviews and 2,000 jobs. And then it's like, if you do a job a day, that's like 10 years.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't... But they're the #1 roofers in America.
Yeah, but so back to this guy, and he's like, and I'm like, it's under my license. And it's like, yeah, you're talking about how you openly scam America. You're using cheap under-the-table labor under your contractor license, and you're subcontracting it out.
Under my supervision. I'm sure you're there a lot.
Yeah, that's how, I do the materials. Yeah, and then you have slaves show up, you know? Let's play a few others.
Yep. Next is one from Pennsylvania, a restaurant from Pennsylvania, and listen to what they say about the crew in the back.
Y no nos queda otra, mi gente, más que cerrar este local.
We don't have a choice but to close this place. All the people who worked here, some are scared. There's no one who came to work. Others have already been taken by migration. And this is how the businesses begin to break.
Well, you didn't really have the foundation to make it long term if you were just paying the, indentured servant class the whole time.
Yeah. This business isn't going to make it? Okay. The business that probably sends all their money back to Mexico via remittances and the people who live cheaply and then live like 5 to an apartment? Yeah, I don't know. I guess that business wasn't really viable, right?
Where else can you get tortas, though?
There's going to need to be a reset, right? If you were doing, and I'm shocked and amazed at the level of enforcement. It was just really nothing for the last 10 to 15 years where people got so comfortable that nobody even tried to have a 50-50 staff. It was just completely given away to it. Here's another one, a warehouse after immigration.
So what do you get? Fucking immigration tries to show up, everybody leaves. Not a soul in here. Everybody's out. Fuck, man.
Sounds like you shouldn't have ever hired him in the first place.
I've been seeing a lot of these businesses, and I'm starting to think that the illegal immigrant number in America is a lot higher than any think tank or any New York Times or whatever is reporting, and which means it's even better that we're doing this because we need to rip the Band-Aid off.
And for a while, I've been vibing the number at 50 million illegals, and everyone's like, oh, that's kind of high, maybe 15. I think it's 50. I think I was right. I think I'll be proven right.
Maybe even 75. I think price just went up.
75.
The quote just went up. And so, again, we're at this point, too, where people are just hiding from ICE. I don't think they're self-deporting, a vast majority of them. They're just kind of waiting for the heat to die down in some of these businesses and restaurants. And we've been talking about the numbers being a little low, like ICE is updating their daily deportations. It's around 1,000, 1,500 on a good day. And I think what we need to do is start to pressure the Trump administration to turn more levers because those numbers aren't good enough to get back to reverse what we did under Biden, obviously. And I think we need to start taxing remittances and going after more employers because we need to have a two-pronged thing, police and ICE foot soldiers, and then also financial war on them. A trade war on the illegals here. You know what I mean?
Smart. That would work, and I would support that. And then also...
And I can see Trump listening to that and then changing his tactic, being like, the numbers aren't high enough. Here's key 2 and key 3. Now, if you self-deport, let us know. And
I wish we tracked self-deportations, and then everyone talks about how do you get all these people out, and how do you transport them? A bus carries 80 people, What if we started doing caravans out? Everyone meet at Santa Fe.
Everyone meet on State Street in Chicago, and we're going to go all the way down.
We're going to caravan
take
out.
I-65 south.
In groups of thousands.
Yeah.
Okay, next part of this, we have the numbers too, which is pretty interesting. According to estimates, there's many as 8.3 million. Can you read it?
According to estimates from the Center of Migration Studies of New York and other groups, as many as 8.3 million undocumented immigrants work in the U.S. economy, or 5.2% of the workforce.
That's a lot.
1.5 million in construction, 1 million in restaurants, 320,000 in agriculture and farms. Another thing, so yeah, huge number, guys. Construction, that's not for you.
And everyone says, like, oh, who's going to pick our berries? 300,000 out of 50 million?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll keep those.
And then another thing, if you guys remember going back, like, you know how a lot of the Democrat platform is trying to like keep you on your heels about being racist or something, or like it would be a dick move if you had assumed someone working in a restaurant who spoke broken English was an illegal. Like, no, you can't assume that. Like, how dare you? You don't know anything about his immigration status. Turns out everyone was illegal.
Yeah.
Literally every single one. So
everyone's scared of ICE.
You were right, and you were never racist.
Exactly. All right, let's move on. With the illegal immigration talks, people obviously assume it's all from the southern border. We do have issues when it comes to the people coming across the northern border from Canada. Let that clip play, please.
Most of the people who come are involved in smuggling. This video shows attempted human smuggling in New York last year, stopped by Border Patrol.
Are the drug cartels behind this?
Some may be, some might not be.
Last fiscal year, Border Patrol apprehended 564 people on the terror watch list. Of them, 484 were encountered on the northern border. The questions are, why here? Why now? Eric says one of the reasons is Canadian foreign policy. Up until a few weeks ago, Canada did not require Mexicans and some other foreign nationals to have travel visas to fly to the country.
For a very
So everyone just flies into Canada and then crosses across the wilderness into the north side of America.
Vermont is a popular crossing place. And, you know, I thought Canada was this first world country. They just have loose, no control and lose track of people who get the visitors visas to go to Canada. And so that'll be definitely part of the tariff negotiations with Trump.
Yeah, we're taking note of that. Mm-hmm. So out of, like they said, the terror watch list, vast majority, like 90% of the people came that are on the terrorist watch list from the northern border.
Yeah, Border Patrol data states that 358 suspects on the terror watch list were arrested on the northern border at ports of entry in fiscal year 2024. 3 suspects were encountered between ports of entry. On the southern border, a total of 155 were encountered.
Crazy.
So like almost a 3-to-1 ratio, 2-to-1 at least.
And then with that comes a lot of fentanyl too. And then Brian Tyler Cohen, he's kind of like a Krasenstein twink, but a little more masculine maybe.
Yeah, not hard to do. I was going to say the threshold. It's.
But he said Trump just launched a trade war against Canada for fentanyl. The U.S. seized, wait for it, 43 pounds at the U.S.-Canadian border last year, 43 pounds. And when you do the math on how much 43 pounds of fentanyl is, it's 9.75 million lethal doses.
Yeah, it could kill 9.75 million people. So, it's nothing. You can't do tariffs. I'm a Democrat. It's not going to work.
It's not going to work.
You'll be proven wrong in 2 days, and Justin Trudeau will be begging.
Yeah, it's not going to work. I went to Scranton and I studied econ at Scranton. It's not going to work, Trump.
Get Harry Sisson in the room.
Harry says it's not going to work, Trump. You sure about this? Are you just guessing? Yeah. And then last piece of our migrant section, Scott Pressler had an interesting tweet. He said as many as 40% of the non-citizens present in Maine have voted in the 2024 elections or may have voted in the 2024 elections or had voted
cast in their names. I see how that tripped you up.
That wasn't me. That wasn't me.
Or had votes casted in their names. Okay. And then I read this article, and it said, so as many as 40% of the non-citizens present in Maine may have voted in the 2024 elections or had votes cast in their names. And this article didn't really go into the details of how they got to that number, or it was like some study or tracking thing that they did. But like, that's insane. Maine is one of the lower, illegal destinations, right? Mm-hmm. But we need to get to the bottom of this. They really need to get out. And that's why I need to squeeze illegal immigrants on economic sanctions so that they don't just hide from ICE, they actually leave.
Bring Ratboy in. He knows what to do.
I guess.
All right, that's the end of our migrant section. We're now getting into the final page of housekeeping where I can say whatever I want and talk about whatever I want. Make sure you use this opportunity to tickle the post, help us juice the algo, leave a like, leave a comment, then comment again, then start yapping about what you want to yap about. P.O. Box needs to be full, notifications need to be on, and old episodes need to be watched. All right, that was a good one.
Yeah.
All right,
I'm reading something now.
Yeah, a lot of plane crashes, obviously, the one in D.C., then we had the other one in Philly, And then someone who used to be an FBI agent called into Fox News to talk about it, and listen to what he says at the end.
For that investigation to start, but they're very methodical in the way that they investigate these things.
They are indeed, and thank goodness for their investigations. And thank goodness for you, Jonathan Gilliam. Great to have you with us as always. And I'm sorry we are doing this again, just 48 hours after you and I were talking about the crash in DC. Jonathan,
Can I say
thank
one more
you
thing
so
to you?
much.
Can I say one more thing to you
real
about
quick,
that?
Jonathan. Yeah.
One thing, I don't want to scare anybody, but one thing is very peculiar because I thought this was the case and I looked it up, is that these types of accidents will often happen in threes or more. So it would not surprise me if within the next month, we have another accident.
What? These happen in threes? These once-in-a-lifetime plane crashes happen in threes?
This is some world is a stage type shit.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of
FBI
it.
saying another one might come too. What?
Shit.
What? What are you talking about, brother?
We just painted the walls. Relax.
Yeah, everyone got to calm down. All right, next, this is kind of an alien thing, but this was getting posted by a lot of people, like Joe Rogan posted this, Congress people posted this.
That's catnip for Joe Rogan.
Yeah, can you give it a read?
Photo from a square structure on Mars posted to Reddit. It is indeed real. This image originates from the Mars Global Surveyor's Mars Orbiter Camera, MOC. The original image can be viewed through Arizona State University's Mars Image Explorer.
That's interesting.
Looks like a foundation for something.
Some sort of foundation, maybe a foundation for giant people who used to live on Mars millions of years ago before the planet got destroyed, and then they had to downsize and move to the Earth. And then maybe that's what Honey, I Shrunk the Kids was predictive programming for.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, it makes you wonder about the giants on Mars a million years ago. All right, moving on. All right, our next clip is about glyphosate, which is a chemical in Roundup that is really causing a lot of harm. And listen to what this guy says and look at the graphs he shows.
I'm literally shaking making this video. You're going to be shocked. Glyphosate is the active ingredient in the weed killer Roundup, and in the mid-90s, a steep incline of the amount of it being used. That's because of the introduction of genetically modified crops like corn and soy, which can be directly sprayed with the weed killer. Blue is the amount of genetically modified crops being planted, and red is the amount of weed killer being sprayed on them. The yellow is the incidences of liver cancers, correlating at the same incline. Unfortunately, it's not just liver cancer that has the same chart as this. It's across the board in so many chronic illnesses. I'm going to go through them here with you now. Stroke, mid-90s, up. Diabetes, the same. Crohn's and ulcerative colitis, the same. Deaths from Alzheimer's. Deaths from dementia. Parkinson's disease, mid-90s, up. Autism in 6-year-olds, the prevalence of it, mid-90s, up. Autism in 6 to 21-year-olds is the exact same across everyone. Renal disease.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Boomers loved Roundup.
I see a lot of them still spraying it in their front yard, and it's all boomers. They spray it, right?
They got it
like
in their
they're
garage.
in shorts, they're wearing sandals, and then he's like, "Oh, put a couple more pumps." I don't know. I personally wouldn't be doing it. That's a job for maybe illegal immigrants. They can keep doing the Roundup, but then I guess Roundup should just be gone. Right?
Roundup should just be gone. And it's, it's in the theme we talk about a lot with all the toxins in the environment. And I have a little bit of a seed to plant with you guys today. We're going to talk more about this on Friday, but I want to get ahead of it a little bit. Obviously, all the toxins in our environment are at an all-time high. Heavy metals, all these horrible things get into our bodies and mess us up, and then you get other autoimmune issues or other issues down the road. And I actually have an in with a clinical grade cellular detox program that removes these toxins from your body. It is intense, like it's a very much a real thing. And like for heavy metals, for example, like they'll embed in your body and in your brain, and you can't get them out by just taking things that you get over the counter. You need to use chelating compounds and then bind them up. And then in that process, you can remove them. So I do have an in with a huge cellular detox program. And I think the future of health is detox. You can't really make progress if you have all these toxins in your system still. So I want to share that with you, especially if you guys have autoimmune issues or hormone resistance issues. A lot of times the seed oils and the horrible foods we eat toxify our cells. So hormone resistance, for example, the hormones can't even go in and out and communicate because the cell wall is so toxified. And that's why people have low testosterone or hormone imbalance. So I want to share this with you guys. If you're interested, let me know. health@fleckistalks.com is the email. Message us your name, your age, your health concerns, and your health goals if you want to hear more, and we'll have someone from the team reach out. I have an in with a very high-end program. It obviously does cost money. There is dietary stuff you have to do too, but it really is worth it. So if you guys want to hear more, we're going to mention it on Friday in the Friday episode. But if you want to hear more faster, health@fleckistalks.com. Send us an email and someone from the team will reach out. I think this really is the future of health. The testimonials are crazy. It's very high-end shit. So I wanted to share that with you guys. Everyone talks about the new age stuff health-wise, raw milk and all that. Like, that's great. But you really need to detox. The key to health is detox. So shoot an email to us if you want to hear more and talk to someone on the team. All right, next. I saw this, and I thought it was really interesting when it comes to putting time in perspective. Can you give it a read?
Let's say your matrilineal line is fairly consistent and everyone has their daughter at age 25. So 4 women in your matrilineal line are born every 100 years. In 1,000 years, that's only 40 women. Like, the math is so simple, and yet you don't think about it. So in 2,000 years, 80 women. So basically 0 AD started roughly about 80 mothers ago. That's it.
That's crazy.
That's Jesus time.
It's not a lot of people. Yeah. This whole thing has only been a few hundred people. Okay, our last clip our last clip from Housekeeping is one of my potential future clients, Oliver Cho, CHUO. He did a cover of Ohio is for Lovers. Is that Hawthorne Heights?
Yeah, by Hawthorne Heights.
And listen to it. It's very good. Black my eyes.
Yeah,
that's my favorite.
There you go.
That's my favorite thing from the whole episode, probably.
All right.
OliverCho.com is his website. Check it out. All right, we're moving on. That is the end of Housekeeping. We're now getting to Cringe of the Week. Before we do, we have a very special announcement from our dear friend, Farmer Bill. If you're like me, you grew up on beef jerky. It was a must-have, especially on a road trip. But have you ever looked into the ingredients they're putting in this stuff? Maltodextrin, MSG, synthetic nitrates, artificial flavors, tons of sugar, and allergens like ultra-processed soy and gluten. Not to mention the big companies get the lowest possible beef they can get their hands on. That's the dilemma. You need protein, but you don't need the chemical-laced globalist schlop they're trying to serve you. That's where Farmer Bill's comes in. Farmer Bill's is a rancher-owned meat processor in South Dakota that sells pasture-raised meat snacks, specifically biltong, which is like jerky but without the bad stuff. Just beef, apple cider vinegar, sea salt, toasted coriander, clove, and white and black pepper. That's it. You can try the 4-pack sampler of pre-sliced biltong, but I recommend the bestseller bundle, which includes the 4-pack and also a half-pound slab and 2 grass-fed tallow bombs, which are perfect for your dry, wintry skin. The pre-sliced biltong is perfect for protein on the go, and the half-pound slab is great for snacking around the house, charcuterie, hosting a party. It's basically a huge dry-aged ribeye that you can slice meat strips off of. It's fantastic. Grab Farmer Bill's bestseller bundle today. You get free shipping, and if you use code FLECKIS15 at checkout, you'll get an additional 15% off. FarmerBillsProvisions.com is the website. It's linked in the description as well. And last but not least, Farmer Bill is also a show watcher. So he supports us. Let's support him right back. And as always, if you guys show me that you made a purchase, I will follow you back on the social media of your choice.
Farmer Bill's Provisions, the perfect protein snack.
All right, our first clip of Cringe of the Week. Over the weekend, there was an election for the new DNC chair, and it was pretty much as bad as you'd expect. Listen to some of these clips.
I have a show of hands. How many of you believe that racism and misogyny played a role in Vice President Harris's defeat? Okay. So that's good. You all passed.
That's good. You all passed.
Those were the 8 people running for the chair of the DNC. And they all raised their hand when racism, misogyny, sexism type stuff.
This is what they do.
Yeah.
And then the Democrats are constantly saying, like, we need to get the message out there. You're getting the message out fine.
Everybody knows.
Just no one likes it.
Yeah.
You're telling people, oh, Republicans only voted red because they don't want to see a black woman in a position of power. There's 50 million illegals here. Money is not worth anything, and there's poison in the food.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, and you're talking about gay gender stuff. It's really crazy. And I mean, the main takeaway from this meeting of the DNC minds was nobody learned any lessons, which is actually good for us. You know, it's annoying when you have to hear about it, but them not learning lessons and doubling down on their existing audience, which is like already liberal white women and then minority women, that's good news for us, right?
Very good news.
They're not trying to flip the Rust Belt, you know? They're just doing the same old song and dance for the same people who already vote for them.
Exactly. And then we have a little compilation here when it comes to the people who were speaking, and they have a lot in common.
Hello, Democrats. Hey, I am speaking, and I would love your attention. There is a black woman at this podium, and I deserve your attention like the 11 people who went before me. Yes, I am speaking.
Good evening, Democrats. Look up here. 3 strong black women standing before you. 3 black women who, rather than just grabbing a chair, ran for chair.
Te quiero mucho, Papa. Gracias por todo. My name is Artie Blanco, Freddie Blanco's daughter. Vote for me for vice chair.
Look at this room, y'all. Truly take it in. This is the Democratic Party. We are our strongest when we stand together.
We are in a time in this country when our democracy and our rights are under attack.
Doesn't look very diverse to me.
They're all fat. And they're mostly black women.
Everyone seems to be a fat minority.
Yeah.
And then obviously...
and listen when I'm speaking like that loud. It's like, I'm going to be loud about it too. So
it's like condescending, and they think they're better than you. And the only reason that you're doing better than them is because of racism. So we have to flip it all on its head now. And obviously, like we said, they lost 2024 because men voted, young men voted, and like blue collar people voted.
Yeah.
And
lower propensity blue collar guys came out in record numbers because they were tired of this shit, right? And then Gen Z and younger millennial men.
And they got blown out. And then their first event, the DNC chair election, they're quadrupling down on the race stuff.
Hand the mic to a black woman, y'all. She's speaking. Now sit down and shut up.
Yeah.
And then like the qualifications, like for a lot of these people, the only thing you can talk about is using race to wriggle into like pockets you shouldn't be by accusing others of like being prejudiced or something. And then so it's not like, oh, I have an engineering background. It's just, oh, I do this everywhere. And then I try to work my way up by doing more accusations of racism and guilt tripping.
Yeah.
So it's not like there's no like base to these people. That is their ability. And then they want to use that ability on the American populace, which we know already doesn't work.
And it doesn't work. And then also keep in mind, DEI is kind of getting left behind at every level. People are abandoning it. It was a failed idea. Corporations aren't doing it anymore. And then in the midst of all that, weeks after the election loss, you're still leaning into DEI like it's the most important thing.
Yeah. Democrats lost the locker room. Meta. Facebook, like these companies who had massive DEI and used to be massive donors are like, okay, bye. We're with the winners now.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we should be encouraging this. I think if they put up a black woman for the next 4 presidential elections, one of them will win. Maybe not the first 3, but like, I think a black woman is kind of easier to beat.
Yeah.
And so I'd love to encourage these guys. Hey, really, it is a black woman's turn. You guys, I'll sit down and speak and listen because a black woman is speaking. I would love them. It's like handing someone a gun to shoot themselves in the foot.
Exactly, because when you have a person who's running for a major position like president and they're a black woman, and then their first thing they mention is people don't want to vote for me because they're racist, like you kind of make people go, okay, I am going to vote against you. I don't care what you call me. That word doesn't mean anything anymore. So it actually, like you said, ends up shooting themselves in the foot.
Yep.
This next person who gave a speech was Dr. Quintessa.
To be the next DNC chair, and I just want to give you all a little bit of something that's been on my heart here over the last couple of days.
Policy?
You fight on, You fight on, you fight on.
So once again, no tangible points. You just sang a black oppression song.
Black and Indigenous. What was that other song we had? They should have had her at the DNC from last week.
But singing, and then what? The people in the crowd are like, kind of have to vote for her now.
Yeah, she sang in that slave voice, that weird like plantation voice.
The we shall overcome
Yeah.
energy. And then there was another guy talking about the DNC when it
It's
comes...
like eating the clock. It's like filibustering. And it's like, okay, she's just singing. There's nothing to do.
Are you going to vote against the slave song? It's like, no.
I guess I can't. And you push the button for her.
And then with these positions and committees, there's also gender rules. And then this guy kind of explained it.
As you know, our 3 at-large vice chair positions are used to ensure gender balance among 7 offices: Treasurer, Secretary, National Finance Chair, and Vice Chair for Civic Engagement and Voter Participation, and the 3 at-large vice chairs. Our rules specify that when we have a gender non-binary candidate or officer, the non-binary individual is counted as neither male nor female, and the remaining 6 offices must be gender balanced.
Yeah, a lot of hoops to jump through before you even hear the speeches.
Non-binary people don't count, is what he's telling us.
Yeah. And then, obviously love to see the double down. And the Democrats are just still the party of mad single women on birth control, flamboyant gays and trans people, and fat self-victimizing black people.
Yeah, and after all those speeches and stuff, they elected this guy, Ken Martin. He ended up winning DNC chair.
Just a gay guy. And then also David Hogg.
Yeah.
Which is pretty crazy. We're going to get to David Hogg in a few. But before we do, there was a councilman, now that we're at the start of Black History Month, there's a councilman who's being audited because of some spending discrepancies. People think that he was maybe laundering money or doing some illegal stuff. And listen to how he tries to get out of it.
I am so distressed and disappointed that the blackest city in the United States of America is heading into Black History Month with its all-black council tearing each other down.
We're not tearing you down. You took your black behind over to Africa for 20 days and didn't tell anybody.
Well, they say the mayor has yet to justify the expenses that are now being audited.
So he gets audited. He takes a trip for 20 days to Africa. And he goes,
City councilman from Atlanta, I think Fulton County.
I can't believe this on the start of Black History Month. Everyone else there was black too.
I know. So that's the best. It's really, he's playing the black card. And at a certain point, that's what it becomes when you're all DEI like the DNC. You play the black card against black people and it's like, dude, you just stole some fucking money, man.
Mm-hmm.
You're a real scumbag. We're all black telling you this. And, this type of person never takes responsibility. So
exactly. And then speaking of Black History Month, there was a mimetic Sisyphus tweet that really summed up the dynamic, and I thought it was very interesting. It's a little bit of reading, but Richard Rapway can handle it.
Yeah, the context is for all the different heritage and ethnicity months or days, right? Mimetic Sisyphus said, up until the 1980s, America was over 80% white. Up to the 1960s, America was over 90% white. So whenever there is a minority history month, you're left with a problem. There simply aren't that many truly historic minority figures in American history. Almost all of the ones that do exist focused on their racial minorities' pet issues, fighting for their group. Aside from that, there's very few minorities who had true influence on American history. So they start adding types of people who normally wouldn't make a history text. Entertainers, inventors of minor tech, first of X minority group to do thing thousands of majority group has done. It's not even a judgment of the quality of any group, being a vanishingly small percentage of the country and having legal and cultural barriers to the halls of power means you wouldn't expect that many historical figures. It's just funny this attempts to get stretched out into a month-long focus.
It's a very good point.
Yeah, it's like, Asian American Pacific Islander thing. It's like, what? All right, you got a couple.
You guys
need a whole
did
month?
some stuff.
Yeah.
And then Black History Month is interesting to me because I don't think, maybe I'm wrong here, but would Black history exist if white people didn't write it down?
That's a good point.
Maybe not. I don't know. I would like to know. Maybe there are historians that I'm not aware of, but that's kind of my vibe. It's like it's a white people thing that we're putting on. It's not like I don't know. I just guessed.
That's a good bail on the point there.
Thank you.
That was good to bail, but I get it.
I
get
made
what
the
you're saying.
point.
Yeah, I know.
All right, our last piece of cringe. David Hogg, he gave a speech. He ended up being the vice chair. He gave a speech. Listen to what he says.
Are you ready to go on the offense? Are you ready to go on the offense? We have to win back our young people. I am the only candidate in this race for any of these positions that is under 30. We had a 20-point shift to the right of our young people. We must show our young people we give a damn about them, that we support them, and we invest in them. I have raised over $11 million in the past year to support the future of our party, because I don't just tweet, I don't just talk the talk, I also walk the walk and I knock the knock in doors across the country, but I'm counting on you in this moment right now. I need your support. Please vote for me.
So he ended up winning.
Yeah.
Gay loser.
They went with the twink. So it's, again, that's a double down. He was the face of the party for a certain amount of time. That's a double down. So, you know.
And I found a shirt on a person, on a Democrat, that kind of reminded me of David Hogg. It's got the Confederate flag. It says losers in 1865, losers in 1945, losers in 2020. And it's some guy that would never call you a loser to your face.
Yeah. It's some guy who his width and height and body shape is all locker sized.
Yeah.
He could go right into a locker.
He's built for it.
Yeah.
You can pick him up.
It's comfy in there. It's like a weighted blanket getting stuffed into a locker for that kid.
And that's the type you can kind of like grab by the shirt, and if you grab and like twist, you can kind of pick him up with one hand.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay, and then next we have David Hogg's tweets from the past that I think show, you know, how he and maybe other Democrats think. He said, like me, I'm never planning to have kids. I would much rather own a Porsche and have a Portuguese water dog and golden doodle. Long term, it's cheaper, better for the environment, and will never tell you that it hates you or ask you to pay for college.
So he's a dog dad. He wants to be a dog dad.
Portuguese water dog?
Yeah.
You want to drive a Porsche? And then Mimetic Sisyphus had a reply to that, which I thought nailed it. Can you give that a read?
From biblical parables to Hollywood films, this is nearly the exact thing the devil would offer you for your soul. A life of fleeting earthly pleasures and nothing more.
Exactly.
Yeah. So.
And then
He wants a Portuguese water dog. That's what he's up to.
I'll give you a Porsche. Yeah. Don't have kids. Give you a Porsche.
Give you a Porsche. Give up your family.
Yeah, literally. And then our last piece of cringe, which also falls under the David Hogg umbrella.
Yeah.
A study finds that giving men a single dose of testosterone, 150 milligrams, fully eliminated pro-social behavior. Pro-social means virtue signal, to feign kindness, or to be admired and accepted.
To feign kindness, to be admired or accepted. So the gay little leftist stuff, one hit of testosterone and you're free from that.
And you're a free thinker and you do what's right, or you're more truth motivated. You're not scared. It's like when, you know, a school of fish stays together so they don't all get eaten or get eaten by themselves. That's what low testosterone will do to a Democrat.
Yeah.
Well, that is the end of Cringe of the Week. We are now moving on to Urban Decay. All right, our first story from Urban Decay. The headline is, "You can't make this up. Drug pusher back behind bars days after receiving clemency from Biden."
So it's Joe Biden's first clemency slip up, and he kind of looks like you.
He looks like a you, I was going to say.
It could be the you.
I said it first. I think I said it first. It's
you. Whatever. So his name is Daquan Willard, 30, and he allegedly tried to fake a urine test during a visit with federal officers under the terms of his supervised release, according to federal prosecutors. And he was previously convicted of cocaine distribution, conspiracy to commit, I guess, along with several other individuals. And Biden obviously commuted his sentence, granted him clemency, but you still have to meet with the federal parole people. And during his initial supervised release at Lubbock probation office last week, Willard allegedly had a bag of diluted coffee concealed near his crotch to pass a drug test. Whether his pants were actually down or not, he was caught in the functional state of such and then admitted to using synthetic marijuana in prison just prior to being released. So that's his story. I think he was smoking blunts with the homies after getting released.
I think he was rolling backwards with the boys.
Come on, what do you
Celebratory, Biden bailed me out. Then he got drug tested a week later.
But it was January 17th to January 24th from clemency to going right back in. So, you know, some people just don't have it in them.
He was drinking, smoking blunts and shit.
I passed out of track at about 3:30.
Okay, the next story is my favorite story from Urban Decay. This woman is on the phone with the food stamp company, and listen to how she kind of exposes herself.
and you're not working, correct?
Correct.
Well, how you gonna send how you gonna send a copy of your photo ID laid out on the laid out at the pool?
Oh my God, I'm sorry. That's all right.
Oh my goodness. All right. And so for you and your child, from the 21st to the end of this month, they're giving you guys $190 and get you back in, and then starting in February, you'll be receiving the max for a household of two.
Okay.
$536. Okay. So other than that, you are good.
So she sent in her ID to get approved for the money, and she was laid out by the pool with her nails did.
Yeah, with one kid, and she ends up getting $539 a month.
Yeah. So and then she has the.
And they're laughing about it.
And they're on the same team against us, the taxpayer.
Clearly a black guy answering the phone and calling and having a laugh with this lady.
And she's hanging out by the pool. This is who taxpayers are subsidizing. And then everyone and the Democrats say, oh, we need reparations to make up for exploited labor. Who's exploiting labor?
Yeah.
And then if you look at it, she has a kid. So she's getting the child support, I'm assuming. She's getting food stamps, and then I'm assuming she lives in Section 8 housing as well.
Yeah, that's the big three.
So all of those, you get all those. And you know when you have like a job in like finance, you get the golden handcuffs?
Yeah, when you're like 55 and you want to retire, but you're making $600,000 a year. So it's like, this is so easy.
Yeah.
I can't even retire.
So in the ghetto, the golden handcuffs are the rose gold plated aluminum cuffs.
Yeah.
Can't turn that down.
And that's the big three. That's the Section 8, EBT, and child support. And and you're like, why would I get a job? I get all this shit, and then all my real cash that I make goes to my nails.
Exactly. And then go ahead.
The nails. Just look at them.
The nails.
They're like, it's not just painted nails. Girls who, white girls, they go get their nails done and they just get a nice ceramic painting and maybe a little extended. They have ornaments, they have little trinkets, they have texture.
That's expensive, and then it also restricts the jobs you can do probably. Because you need to type like this on the computer.
So this is why if I was at the White House press conference, I would ask about EBT fraud and you can tell. So EBT in general, right? It's just what's your income? How many dependents do you have? What's your XYZ? They don't it's just like numbers and then you fit it into a spreadsheet. And then if you make that work, you make that work. There's no like, okay, what are you spending on? What am I looking at? This endless free money thing is so over. You need to have like almost a forensic accountant looking at like, well, what are you spending on? How much cash do you have? Like, we're going to watch you for a week,
Yeah.
It's nothing. It's just you don't have a job and you have a kid, ching-ching, with no plan to get you off of it.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Like, say, all in all, you get like $2,000 a month of benefits. Why would you go do a job where you make $2,300 a month?
Yeah.
Because
then all that money goes to your actual expenses, and then you shouldn't do that. And then we have 50 million illegals here doing all those jobs instead of you. But yeah. So golden handcuffs, you keep working, aluminum, rose gold, Nissan Altima handcuffs, and why would you get a job, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the fucked up thing that we're incentivizing in America, and that's why DOGE needs to get to the EBT.
And I found this meme I thought was good. There's like this old meme where it's like a picture of dead and barely alive military people holding up America's land, and then there's like a family on it, like on a farm. But they replaced that with this person, which is basically what's going on.
With a giant 300-pound black woman, pre-diabetic in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the money goes. And then all the trans people in Guatemala get some too.
Yep. And this actually isn't just a thing in America. This attitude is being brought abroad as well. This woman here went to marry someone in Pakistan, and when she got there, it kind of fell through. But listen to her demands.
I'm not talking unless y'all giving me land and 2,000 or more every week. You hear me?
Okay. Yeah.
I'm getting my Pakistani passport and Pakistani ID.
You have Pakistani ID?
I'm getting it. Do y'all agree?
Did I ever given your friend?
Mind your business. What? Talk.
Tell me, you have a Pakistani passport?
I'm getting one. Do you have one?
I have a Pakistani passport.
Oh, you do?
Why are you?
Okay, good.
Yeah. So she wants $2,000 a week from Pakistan. She just got there on some 90-day fiance shit where she got ghosted.
She wants land.
She's causing an international scene, talking in like a New York accent, holding press conferences with these people.
And she gets disrespectful in the next clip to the point where it's like, you better watch
You're
it.
gonna get hit.
They'll kill you.
अब जो भी मामला जितना हो गया 2-3 दिन बहुत हो गया भाई बहुत हो गया बस है बस अब बस है बस है बस
He talks too much.
But-
Listen, he talks too much. That's it.
yes that's it yes I'm saying ये भी देखे यही मेरी बात की तारीफ कर रही है
Listen. You talk too much.
okay
We don't know what you're saying.
अच्छा अब ये सारी चीजें
So is the most entitled demographic in the world the loud black American woman?
You add fat to it too.
You go to Pakistan. You know, if I had any issue in Pakistan, I'd be desperately trying to get to the U.S. Embassy.
Yeah.
Begging for a flight out. I'll get on a military plane. I'll get in a cargo hold. Please. I just don't know how I got here. She's walking into press conferences telling people to shut up and give her money. I'd want to see her get severely something.
Consequenced.
Yeah. I want to see the consequences imposed. But I mean, is there anything more annoying? So I think that's global. Globally speaking, that's like the most annoying type of person on earth.
And it is global at this point, thanks to her.
Yep.
All right, we're moving on to our next clip. There was a drive-by shooting where a 16-year-old killed somebody in North Carolina, and he assumed he was going to be tried as a child or, slap on the wrist. And when he gets the full verdict, look how he reacts.
Sean Simpson came into Gaston County Court at points wiping away his tears as he stood before a judge. Just 16 years old, he's being charged with first-degree murder as an adult. That's as a result of a law change that went into effect in December, which allows teens his age to be charged as an adult in certain crimes. There was a realization that during this proceeding that the gravity was hitting him, a grand jury indictment that could come in the near future, and a moment that hit when a judge told him that he would not be seeing freedom anytime soon.
Court may impose a hold without bond. Court finds sufficient allegations to support the charges. Considering the relevant facts of the charges, he is ordered held without bond.
This moment is tough to watch, but it was something that Zaquavius Dawkins' family says they needed to be here for. Simpson accused...
Tough to watch. I liked it.
So he killed another kid in basically a drive-by shooting, and then if he had done it 3 months before... in December is when the rule change happened. And so now he's being charged as an adult, held without bond. He's going to be guilty. Obviously, the kid's going to be guilty. But just that's who the rule was made for. The type of guy like you. Mm-hmm. A kid who's old enough to know better but still does drive-by shootings and kills someone. Yeah, you're going to do a lot of crime in jail.
Tough to watch.
With the adults. No, it's fucking not.
No, it's not.
It's tough to watch a kid die. The kid gets shot for no reason. That's what's tough.
Kill a kid for nothing in a drive-by.
But that was, I think, Gaston County, which is in North Carolina. So good for you, if you're making rule changes to get these type of people. Because this type of kid, this is the type of person who would go to a juvenile facility and then get released when they're 18 or 21 or whatever the rules that they have to avoid adult court, and then go do it again. Be emboldened and go do it again. So
yep, exactly. All right, next we have a less uplifting story because this guy ends up getting off. That guy, Jay Oma, he's the lawyer online who's constantly getting people off for heinous crimes. Listen to this one.
Got my case dismissed.
And what were you charged with?
Assault on a pregnant person.
And how much prison time were you looking at?
10 years, bro.
What did they accuse you of doing?
Punching and slapping my baby mama.
Okay. And are you happy with the results?
Hell, fucking yeah.
All right. And is there anything else you want to add?
Man, hire this man, bro. Hire this
So you assaulted a pregnant woman, but you got your case dismissed, and now you're really relieved that you're acquitted.
Yeah.
So there's multiple types. Like we were talking about this before, Rapway and I. There's multiple types of being acquitted. Like relief is what Daniel Penny felt when he got off because he did something that wasn't wrong and he was going to get falsely accused. So his acquitted was relief.
He's like, whoa. Oh, I can't believe I went through that. Like untightening up your, loosening your necktie. Like
same with Kyle Rittenhouse too.
Yeah,
Kyle Rittenhouse, same type of thing. A relief because you didn't deserve what you might have gotten, And then this guy is all giddy and happy because he got away with it.
It's the holy shit, I'm so happy, I can't believe I beat that case grin. And you know that only happens when you totally slapped your baby mama around.
Mm-hmm.
And J-Oma gets you off, right?
It gets you off, and you get real happy and giddy that you got acquitted. Yep. All right, next we have a woman who makes an interesting claim.
I'm not the kind of person who comes to the internet to cry, though I don't judge anyone who does. But we're in danger here in the U.S. And I'm scared. And I don't know what to do. I don't know if there's anything we can do, but we're in danger.
And the crying, we're in danger from drive-bys and pregnant women and being abused.
I don't even know what race this person is, so I don't even know what "we" means in this context. Are you illegal? Are you an illegal immigrant? Is that what you're telling me?
But this
brown people?
It's just, this idea that black people are under attack and it's white people doing the attacking. We all know the stats. We all know how it works. We all know who's attacking who.
We all know who J-Oma's clients are.
Yeah, exactly. All right, our last piece of Urban Decay is borderline uplifting. That's why it's on the transition clip side. This woman's describing an interaction she had with another man, and listen to what she says that makes the police crack up.
Tell me the truth from the beginning.
So in the beginning, me and him had a relationship.
Okay.
Like you clearly see.
A relationship over text?
No, we was really in a relationship.
Like you guys would see each other in real life?
Yes.
Okay.
Then he moved, over there where he's at now.
Where is that?
In Connecticut, overseas.
Okay. Overseas in Connecticut.
That's what he said he moved to Connecticut.
Okay.
Personally, I was like, okay, we can try.
That's enough. They all just start cracking up.
They have to leave the room because they're laughing.
She moved overseas to Connecticut. I think that she thinks it just means far away, overseas. Oh, man. Well, that's the end of Urban Decay. We are now moving on to Uplifting Gold. Don't get too down or too depressed.
I don't think this was a depressing episode, to be honest.
I think everything's uplifting now that Trump's in.
I know. You look back and I don't, that's what we usually say for Uplifting Gold. But you look at our housekeeping, it's like the migrants are empty. They're not working the jobs anymore. There are jobs opening up for white people, Americans, actual citizens, including black people. DOGE is cutting everything. The DNC is making the same mistakes. We're kind of in a sweet spot. Yeah. I don't know if I'm too down or depressed anymore, guys.
I'm not down or depressed at all.
The sun will come up tomorrow type shit. I'm tap dancing.
Show's getting good.
I know.
Show's
it's interesting. We needed a change, too.
Yeah.
We were getting down and depressed.
And we were covering, obviously, all the Urban Decay and all the horrible trans stuff for years and years. And now we're finally in redemption season, a redemption type thing.
Yeah, thank you. You do a podcast?
Redemption arc.
You do a podcast? All right, let's get into Uplifting Gold.
All right, our first clip of Uplifting Gold is this woman found $100 almost.
So I'm at the gas station last night. I see this on the ground like this. Yo, I scooped it, get in my car. I'm like, oh, I found $100. Girl, look what the fuck it say on the bed.
Can't even open it.
What the fuck?
That's uplifting.
Yeah.
In your face.
Yeah.
I don't know who's making those.
No free ads. That's like a product somebody sells. It might even be a fake viral video. But I would like to do that. Fake hundreds and kind of watching from a car, watching people realize they got a fake 100. Mm-hmm. That's kind of a hobby.
All right, next. This is a joke that Rap Boy and I were talking about over the weekend. Morgan Wallen. I was telling Rap Boy, I was like, Morgan Wallen needs to keep drinking and keep being a fuck up and keep being an idiot.
Keep drunk dialing his ex-girlfriend at 3 a.m. He needs to keep doing the things that he talks about in his songs.
So that he makes more good music.
So that he makes more good songs. And all of that ends with him being blacked out, arrested, driving fast,
calling all night. You gotta keep calling, Morgan. You gotta keep
being in love, harassing ex-girlfriends, anyone he can get, right?
Yeah. And then what the industry doesn't need is him to go, yeah, I've actually been sober for 6 months. So I cleaned up my act.
I'm 100 days clean. I'm doing 70 hard. It's like, what the fuck is this album gonna be about? All his managers are like keeping him fucked up.
Yeah, you got to keep him fucked up. And then I saw that he has a tour coming up, Morgan Wallen, I'm the Problem tour. And it's like, oh, good. Good, Morgan, yeah.
Hey, yeah, when he hits 40, he should clean his act up and, but until then, you got to ride the wave of...
You got to keep being belligerent.
Emotional belligerence and alcohol abuse.
You're a couple doubles away from getting her back.
Yeah. Brother,
don't listen to the bartender cutting you off. He doesn't know you. Knock him out.
So we saw the I'm the Problem tour and we go, oh,
he's still
all right. New album coming, gonna be the album of the summer.
Gonna be a banger.
Yeah.
Okay, next, a 525-pound bear named Barry was found hiding under an LA home, and he saved himself from the wildfire. Look at him. He's alive.
Good for him. Good instincts there, Barry.
And he survived, and he's okay, and he's huge. And then someone said he was left behind because a Lyft driver refused to pick him up. And 525 pounds is like 20 pounds away from how much that woman weighed.
Yep.
It's very crazy. All right, next we have a giraffe chiropractor.
He likes it.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pull his.
How you want to hug again? I'm all about this. All about that.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull his head down.
He likes it.
Yeah, he likes it. And if there's ever been an animal species that probably needs a chiropractor,
what's with the stupid neck?
It would be the giant long neck thing.
The stupid neck.
It's an evolutionary thing.
It's for kids. Kids like it's like a horse but different. Kids like it.
All right, whatever.
All right, speaking of that, this is on a farm, and look what's going on here.
Dogs, donkey. They're all ripping up a pig.
They all hate the pig.
Are they supposed to be friends, or is this what they're trained to do?
I think it's a wild boar, and I think wild boars are bad.
Okay.
And they all know to hate the wild pig. They all hate the pig.
All right.
That's crazy.
There you go. Uplifting gold, maybe.
We're at the end of the show. We're chilling. All right, this next clip is actually really funny. Best clip of Uplifting Gold. It's, how people do online. They do the social media clips and the viral stuff.
They do the voiceover at the end of it.
And it's the fake feel-good stuff. This is actually hilarious.
Can you hold this for me?
Yeah.
You want a waffle?
Yeah.
Are you thirsty?
Oh, yeah.
Let's go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And your waffles.
Thank you.
Of course. Do you remember where we first met?
Yeah, on the street.
There's something in your eyes.
Oh.
Hey, look, you went viral.
Really? What do you mean?
The other day we saw someone sweeping the streets. We took him in and we gave him some waffles and a refresher. We asked him where he lived and he said,
on the street.
He was so happy that we gave him food that he started crying. He touched our soul, so we decided to give him some pancakes to go. Like this video so we can continue changing lives.
That's pretty good.
That's good marketing.
That's great. All right, last thing is an RRB doppel. The resemblance is uncanny.
Yep.
That's you.
Maybe.
The glasses. The glasses always make someone look like you.
I don't know. I don't see it.
You just get old, you'll turn into him, and you'll see. We were
All right.
right. We'll come back to this in 20 years.
All right.
Well, that's the end of the show, but we do have shout-outs, as I'm sure you guys can guess. Happy anniversary to Gabriella and Joshua on February 2nd. They've been together for 6 years. Here's a picture of them.
Happy anniversary.
Lovely couple. Congrats, you guys. Keep it up. Happy birthday to Stephanie on February 4th. Very nice. Stephanie, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Stephanie.
Happy birthday to Neil, who turned 29 on January 30th. Yes, Neil, we're talking to you.
Happy birthday, Neil.
We got happy birthday to Will on February 3rd, and he's getting bonus land as a gift from his girlfriend or wife. I forget.
Happy birthday.
And then we have a happy birthday to Kipper on February 2nd. He's a big bonus lander as well. Thank you, Kipper. Kipper. That's a good American name.
Never heard Kipper once.
Kipper Jones, the baseball player?
Chipper Jones, the baseball player.
Similar.
Yeah, I've never heard Kipper once, but happy birthday,
Maybe
brother.
I wrote it down wrong. Happy birthday to Christy on the 4th, February 4th. Happy birthday, Christy. She's a bonus lander as well.
Happy birthday.
And happy birthday to Corey on February 3rd. He's been watching Fleckus Talks for 7 years, which is crazy. And then as a surprise, Corey, I got you Bonus Land because your girlfriend sent a nice message saying you've been watching forever. And I sent her the money to buy Bonus Land, and now you have Bonus Land as a gift from both of us.
Very generous.
Very generous. We give back. Happy birthday to Mike Sr. on February 2nd. He drag races his Impala.
Whoa.
That's a very cool hobby.
What year?
I don't know.
I want to know about that.
And then we got some ones that are going to hit close to home. Happy birthday to CJ, the kid from Henchman Kid Maxing.
Oh, happy birthday.
He just turned 6 on Sunday. And then happy birthday to his dad, Kevin, as well, who turned 42.
Happy birthday, guys.
Great family.
Nice Henchman junioring.
Happy birthday, everybody. Great family. Happy anniversaries. Bonus Landers. Speaking of bonus landing, guys, join Bonus Land. FleckusTalks.com is the website. Support the show. Get extra content. You can turn your week into a 4-day, 4-show viewing schedule.
Shoutouts are getting out of hand again.
Yep, we're going to start cutting them off to 0.
It's guys, it's just hard. There's a lot.
It's a lot.
You got to write them all down.
Crazy.
Everyone's got their own little thing. You know, we had a good run, right?
We had a great run. No more birthdays. No, we'll keep doing them, but I don't know. If you show me that you're a bonus lander, you'll get them. Otherwise, it's 50-50. I just get to it, I flip a coin, and whatever happens, happens. All right, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you on Friday.